Welcome to Mentor Training Session 1, Introduction. Before you begin, make sure you have access to your participant materials for Session 1. There is important information that will be referenced in this session, but is only available in the Session 1 participant materials. I'm Judy Corner, the Director of Consulting for an organization called Insala, and I will be your host throughout these sessions. There are a total of 8 sessions. Most of the sessions will take you about 10 minutes to complete, some a bit more like this introduction, and some a bit less. You may go through these sessions at your own pace, going through all 8 sessions at one time, or possibly going through a couple of sessions, taking a break, and then coming back to complete additional sessions. It's up to you. The best thing about this is that if in the future, if you forget information or a concept from a session, you can always go back and review it. In Session 1, we will introduce some of the basic concepts of mentoring, the terminology and definitions of a mentor, a mentee, and mentoring, and also the differences between a coach and a mentor, and coaching and mentoring. In Session 2, we will discuss the phases of a mentoring partnership and specific actions that affect you as a mentor in each phase. Session 3 will cover 2 documents that are vital to the success of the mentoring partnership: the mentoring plan and the mentoring agreement. In Session 4, we will introduce the concept of learning styles. Learning styles are not so much about the content or what an individual is learning, but what is the best way for an individual to receive information so that they're able to maximize their learning. Session 5 will focus on the advantages of a mentoring program and a mentoring partnership to you as a mentor and to your mentee, as well as the organization overall. In Session 6, you will get a look at your job responsibilities, as well as those of your mentee. In Session 7, we will cover some possible challenges that you may encounter, as well as solutions to these possible challenges. Each session will provide tips on how to get the most out of your partnership. But in Session 8, there will be special ongoing tips that can really make the difference in your partnership and your experience as a mentor. Each session will have a similar format and will contain questions to ponder, as well as special tips relating to the session. We strongly encourage you to go through the sessions sequentially, as starting in the middle or somewhere other than the beginning, it's likely to cause confusion or frustration. There are participant materials for each session, which you should access prior to beginning each session. In addition, you will find that each session builds and contains information from previous sessions. The mentor's role deserves careful attention, as it is the linchpin in the mentoring process. The goal of these recordings is to help prepare you for that role. It is important that when you leave this program, you feel that all your questions and concerns have been answered and addressed, and you feel confident in carrying out your chosen role of mentor. If you have any questions, please write them down, as they may be answered in a later session. Or, at the end of this session, there will be contact information for the program administrator who can provide any additional clarification you may need. As mentioned previously, Session 1 is the introduction to the basics. We'll cover the following topics: terminology. The good news about mentoring is that it's thousands of years old, And the bad news about mentoring is that it's thousands of years old. As a result, it's critical to highlight different perceptions and historical misperceptions regarding what a mentor is, what a mentee is, and what mentoring overall is. It is important that we are all moving forward with a common understanding. It is also important to distinguish between a coach and a mentor and coaching and mentoring. As with all sessions, we will cover tips for assistance as well as questions to ponder. An additional goal of this training is to ensure that everyone understands what we mean by specific concepts of mentoring, ensuring that there's an organizational consistency and clarity in communication. Because many of you may have had previous experience as a mentor, you may be wondering, why is it important that you go through training to be a mentor now? Here are the reasons we believe that this training is important. First, you need to ensure clear communication and clear understanding of your roles. You need to ensure a successful partnership, and you also need to ensure what mentoring is and is not. To begin, we believe a mentor is an individual with specific knowledge or experience in a given area of expertise who is willing and able to share that information with another. The two most important words in that definition are willing and able. Willing means that you are committed to spending the time with your mentee and helping them develop in specific areas. The able means that you actually have the skills to be a mentor. One of the historical misperceptions regarding being a mentor is that if someone was good at what they did, they would automatically be a good mentor. Not true. It takes very different skills to be good at doing something than to be able to impart that knowledge to another and help them develop. The role of mentor requires you to have skills in oral communication, relationship building, listening, and so on, as well as the specific area of expertise. The mentee, then, is the individual who seeks or needs specific knowledge or experience in a given area. It's important to understand that the mentee may have knowledge from training or a workshop and now simply needs the experience to understand what that knowledge looks like when it's practiced in real-world situations. Mentoring can be described as a relationship between a highly skilled individual and a mentee. With this relationship, the mentee will gain knowledge and expertise held by the mentor to fully understand the capacity of the organization in which they are employed. It is important to keep several things in mind about these definitions. Nothing in the definitions explicitly says that the mentor's older than the mentor's been in the organization longer than the mentee, or the mentor is at a higher job grade or level than the mentee. It simply indicates that there is an individual who needs development in specific areas, your mentee, and a qualified individual that can provide that development, you, the mentor. There are two additional elements to keep in mind. This is not just a relationship, this is a partnership. And not only will your mentee learn from you, but you will learn from your mentee. There are many, many examples of comments from mentors indicating they can't believe how much they learned from their mentee. So we encourage you to be open to the knowledge that you can receive from your mentee. The second element is that in this program, it is mentee-driven. It is your responsibility as a mentor to guide this partnership. Throughout the sessions, we will illustrate specific ways in which your mentees should be demonstrating to you that they are indeed driving the partnership. Many times individuals ask, what's the difference between a coach and a mentor? Or what's the difference between coaching and mentoring? A coach is a trained individual, where coaching is a skill. It's important to make the distinction between the two terms. Many times the terms coach and coaching get intertwined. As an example, a manager may be coaching an individual that reports to them, and therefore the manager feels they are in the role of coach. In actuality, the manager is using this skill of coaching, but is not in the formal role of coach. Just because someone uses the skill of coaching, it does not make them a coach. If you have had a professionally trained career coach, some of your experiences may be different than the ones listed in your participant materials, but these are some differences found in research. Please take the time to read through your participant materials to review each of these statements as well as the additional explanations of each. And now for some additional tips that will make your mentoring experience even more beneficial. Be sure that you look for more extensive explanations of all of these tips in your participant materials for session 1. First of all, be sure you understand the organization's goals for the mentoring program. As a mentor, you're significantly stronger when you understand the organization views about the mentoring efforts. Next, be open to learning yourself. Remember, you can learn as much from the mentee as they can learn from you. Next, be enthusiastic. Show genuine interest in participating as a mentor. Let your mentee know that this is a role you chose, not one that was required of you. And last, make sure you're clear on the definitions of a mentor, a mentee, and mentoring. Don't go back to your own historical definitions. Be sure that you are up to date on the definitions used within this program. At this time, we would like for you to think about everything that we've talked about during this session. Take a moment to review these questions that come under questions to ponder and record your responses in your participant materials. If you need any clarification on any of the information provided here or in your participant materials, or if you have any general questions, please refer to the email listed in the front of your participant materials. Thank you.